It's time to dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is once again time to dad. We are joined tonight by Joe, and for the second time in a very long time, the new, undisputed girl dad, Alex.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah.
I am that guy that does those things.
And and I am Jason. But welcome back, guys. But it is time to dad once again. I'm joined by Alex and Joe, and we're gonna kind of go forward as what's the date on the calendar, guys? We're around like the third week of February. We did like a New Year's check in. Can we what do we like? Is it like President's Day check in? Like, do we do something? But we
I
kind
got my wife's birthday coming up, so there's a birthday. There we go.
I
We're gonna
think
get that going. That's a holiday, right?
your wife's birthday. You better.
We don't want to forget that one. We don't want to forget that one.
So,
Well,
have you come to your senses? Last time we were on together, I told you that the stock market was a Ponzi scheme. Have you realized that?
listen, if that's what it is, you just gotta play the game, Jason, and go, as you said, ride the waves. I think was your wording.
Yeah.
So, and if people have been doing that and listening the past few years, well, the last year and a half has been a pretty good wave to get on. So, I hope they listen. I hope they listen.
I mean, it has. It definitely has. But I think people like ignore that. They're like a general malaise where because things. It's funny because the stock market's fine, but people are worried because things cost more, which I attribute to natural inflation or COVID. I don't know. I don't want to make it a financial show, Joe, but I think people like don't talk about when the stock market's good. They only talk about when it's bad because bad news sells. You think like if it bleeds, it reads. You guys
Yep.
like that. So
100%.
what do we do as dads? And this is just coming to me, but what do we do as dads um, to keep our kids in the right headspace in terms of do they, most people want to talk about negative subjects because it drives an interest in the news media and just I think when you're a kid, just talking to other kids, there's a negativity. What do we do for our kids? Do we like keep them from watching the news? Do you keep them? Um, you control what they consume, and how does that affect your like outlook on how to be a dad going forward?
So,
Alex, I'll let you go first on that.
yeah, I was gonna say, my kids are both two. My daughter clearly was born not too long ago. I think the game plan is loosely gonna be like let them figure out most of the stuff on their own. Certain subjects don't need to know or be aware of yet based on their age. We'll address it when they get older. Unless they hear about crazy stuff beforehand, then we'll talk about it then, explain stuff to them, and try to make them as well-rounded, just good human beings that are self-reliant, but not too independent to never be open to like a relationship or something like that. And then, like after that, once they get to that stage, in life, tell them, hey, this is what I learned through my life. This is what worked for me. These are the mistakes you should avoid at this stage in your life, and so on and so forth. And just basically be their guide in life in the best, most reasonable way. I mean, I'm not left leaning, right leaning. I'm just middle of the road. Just, stay in your lane. Things mostly work themselves out. And if you want something, fucking bust your ass, work for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think when I think us three, right? We all have the young ones, right? We're all the ones that all of our kids are under 3, right? All of ours.
What do they watch? Do they watch any? Like, do your kids watch TV?
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. Well,
That's his thing right now.
How much versus how little too? And I didn't mean to interrupt Joe's point. I want to hear the rest of that. But like,
Yeah. Actually, we had a talk with him today about it. Actually, so it's kind of funny you brought that up of trying to reduce some of it because he does it. Yeah, we have been watching in the morning. It kind of became a habit. It's like first thing in the morning, like he'll watch it as I'm kind of getting my breakfast and stuff ready for him, and or things like that, kind of setting stuff up, having my coffee, and then he'll watch about.
sorry, what were you drinking, Joe?
Nice. Nice.
Coffee. CAWFEE.
Plugging down
Love
the first coffee.
Straight black iced coffee every morning. That's what it is.
Gosh, I want to hear Josh say coffee and then have Joe say coffee back to back.
Maybe we'll do an episode of just different words from different places of the country.
I love it.
How is
Right?
it said in New York versus Texas?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, when I was enjoying my coffee, we, he usually watches a little bit. Now it's Paw Patrol. That's his thing. He's watching, and he'll watch throughout the day. My wife is pretty good at keeping him busy. Occasionally, if he's like really tired and wants to kind of skip nap, then he'll kind of lay down and watch it just to kind of chill out for a little bit. And then about 15 minutes at night before bed, he'll do that. That's kind of our TV, but we're trying to break it where it's really none in the morning. Maybe in one episode, and then throughout the day, we try to get that away. We're not big into the electronics. He doesn't really even know what an iPad is yet. He's never plays with our phones. We don't have any games or anything like that for him on there. He kind of sees the phone, takes a picture, then hands it back to you, and kind of just walks away. He's really just into his cars right now still.
I think we're blessed. We're blessed that they're young enough where that's it. It's still probably a lot easier right now.
Yeah. I mean, when they get older, stuff is going to be tough because I think it's more, then peers get into it, right? And I think it's, it's what their friends have. It's this, it's that. It's like a whole freaking Stanley Cup stupid crap going on right now. And it's like, all right, well, this kid has it, the next kid wants it, and then the next kid wants it. And it's like, all right, well, the kid's going to have a cup that they're probably going to leave and lose that they just paid $50 for. I don't even know how much it is. I think it's even more than that.
Yeah.
I know people have been stealing them.
Yeah.
There you go. So easily a kid's going to get one stolen, and now you just bought a cup that someone stole real quick for a kid. So
Ignore this lady passing by in the background.
We didn't see anything.
Stanley Cups and what were the cups before that? Like Yeti coolers. Like,
Yeti.
There's like a whole skit about how Yeti, like, it's a joke that people even buy Yetis or think that there's value there. And I think that it keeps the drink cold so it sells itself. But like some of the ridiculous marketing campaigns of it, like, no, we're going to have one basic color and it's super heavy and all deterrents to people actually using the product. And then it's like, people bought it anyway. I think Stanley Cups and Yetis are just a tribute to like a marketing campaign or like a useful item that draws a crazy value that it doesn't cost to make. It's just marketing.
Yeah. Well, I don't even like the whole Stanley Cup thing. It was like, isn't it just like a big Yeti with a handle and straw?
Yeah, and it's like $100, and they were managing. But you start with like a Yeti that was like $40 for a mug that you bought for $5 2 years earlier, and it's like just because it's Yeti and it has that name on it, and it granted it's got a little bit better design, so it keeps shit hot and cold, and it works.
That's what it does.
If the value of it is in its functionality, but like you just exceed any idea of what something should cost. So then Stanley Cup is like, well, fuck it. Yeti fucking did nothing and just gave us a cup that kept your shit hot and cold, and they can charge $40 for a $5 item. So we'll just put a handle on that fucker and charge like $100.
Yeah. Well, listen, that is marketing. And a lot of times marketing is just make it pricey and people think it's better than it is. And
Golf clubs, anything golf. Perfect example.
Yeah.
You golf, Joe?
I don't actually. I don't.
Think of it this way. So you could go down the street from me and play at a very functional, nice-ish golf course, play a round of golf for like $50 nowadays, $60, $50 or $60 with a cart, like an average golf course. You could probably walk and play for 35, $40. But like the marketing of a private golf course in the next town or in Worcester, which the nuances to you guys, if you don't play golf, it actually is easier for me to explain. But like, is it a nicer course? Yes. But the pomp and circumstances of what it is and how exclusive and how private it is allows them to charge like $40,000 a year for you to play at that golf course as a member. The only way you could possibly play there. Whereas I could go pay $35 every round and just play like once or twice at the course up the street. It's advertising. It's creating value in something that is just exclusive and so expensive that it must be great.
Yeah, listen, it's crazy golfing. The pricing.
Yeah.
It's listen. Marketing is an interesting thing. It really is, because you can put value on something that has no value, but if you trick people into the value, then it has value because it's what we assume it is. Right? Talking about, right? What you talking about? Ponzi schemes, right? If you tell people this item, it was kind of like remember when NFTs, non-fungible tokens, first came out, and I remember trying to explain it to my father. He's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, imagine this cracker, Dad. If you guys can see it, right? It's a cracker." And somebody just said, "Hey, that cracker is now going to be worth $1,000." And somebody's like, "Hey, that's a really cool cracker. I'll buy it." And then other people want to buy it, and then they create a marketing thing based off just value that people are perceiving. It's not real value. It's just the perception of the value. That's how Peloton got so big. You guys, the Peloton story, right?
No.
So Peloton, when they first started, they actually were not the most expensive bike. They were cheap, and they came out and they were not selling a lot of Peloton bikes. So they got rid of the marketing person. They brought in somebody new, and the first thing the marketing person did is he tripled the price of their normal bike. So everybody's like, "Why would you? We're not selling. What are you going to do?" He's like, we're going to triple the price. We're going to make it the most expensive bike on the market, and people are now going to perceive it to be the best bike, and everybody wants the best thing. So all of a sudden, their sales skyrocketed, and that's how Peloton really blew up. It's just they didn't change anything. They just said, "Hey, we're going to triple the price of it and make people think that it's a better bike than it really is."
I think there's a double side, and it's both marketing. They're equal in their like cunning ridiculousness. But so we have a product where I sell cars, and I mean, truthfully, I don't know. You guys live far away. Maybe I'm giving away secrets here and explaining what this is or isn't. But
Tell us all the secrets.
Give us secrets. Come on.
So we sell a product that, and I will take to my grave how much the product actually costs. But literally, and you guys are gonna laugh because you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like a paint and fabric protection that you put on the car. It's like a spray ceramic coating that comes with a warranty. So your car shines and the inside of your car is protected from mayhem, wear and tear. It's literally an Allstate product. Okay. So it's a useful thing. But where I used to work, it was like a throw in, like something that nobody ever talked about. I didn't make money off of it. The manager did, but only sold it once in a while product. At my last store, but at the store that I work at now, they utilize it as, and it's kind of smart and ingenious, but It's like the most sensible thing you could buy along with the vehicle besides a warranty. So they utilize it as like they rename it and they call it something that puts a lot of value in, that creates more value for it. So where I used to work, it was a throw-in item. It cost like $600-700. Okay, and it was still probably making a profit off of that amount. So where I work now, they've renamed it and they call it the Smart Shield. They put it over the whole car. It's a shield, ceramic coating that protects the whole car, the outside, the inside, keeps it looking new forever. You can use it and make a claim through Allstate against mayhem, all that shit. And we charge $2,000 for the same product. But the idea of it is genius. So if you go look at value in it and sell it for $2,000, God bless you. Of it is you're actually waiting for the customer to not see $2,000 worth of value in it, and then you offer them a discount and you sell it for $1,500 or $1,300 or $1,000, and it's still made $300 more than the last place I worked at was. So if you make a person feel like they got value because they got a discount in an item, same thing is making them feel like they got value because they paid way more than the thing was actually worth, because it must be great because it's expensive. So it goes both ways.
That's Kohl's, right? Kohl's store. The whole thing is built up. Hey, I'm gonna make this thing $300, but you're gonna get it for $40, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, I'm the greatest shopper in the world! I got a deal because it was 70% off plus Kohl's Cash and 30% off."
No, we can't publish this episode. We're breaking the internet.
I think we need to expose everybody.
FaceTime continues. Okay.
This is why, like, one thing I always said is I want my kids to work at different jobs for like 6 months.
Jobs
so
that
they can
suck.
learn. Whatever it is, jobs that suck, but like just so they can learn all like the inside things about stuff. Learn how to do things. So I want them to be a carpenter for 6 months. I want them to be a plumber for 6 months.
Okay.
I want to be a car mechanic for 6 months, working car sales, phone sales. Because then what you do is you learn a little bit about everything. You're going to get exposed to a bunch of stuff, but then you kind of learn the tricks and the trades of all these things too. And I think that's something I want them to kind of do. Like I worked in a deli. It was great. I got good experience, but I just ate more. I got fatter. Like wasn't like I learned these great tricks of the trade. I just learned how to make a fattening egg sandwich and throw mayo on it and stuff.
Well,
it was good.
Isn't there something to that? So it's like, can you really learn to do something under? I mean, yes. The answer is absolutely yes, unequivocally. But unless you're the kind of person who can do it, can you really teach the average person or the every person, the larger majority of people, something under fire? Or can they not conceptualize, because you're at such a fast pace where you're teaching it, but you're also doing it because you have pressure of selling it to like you're trying to teach a trade, but you're under the gun because you're trying to make something for a customer. Like they're not learning at a pace where they actually can get that information. The average person. Some people can.
My son won't be average.
I knew that was coming.
Well, I mean, listen, if he's just learning as an apprentice for carpentry, he's just going to learn to be an apprentice, I guess. I guess where that pressure comes in is maybe in a sales industry, I guess. But he's still going to learn.
Like food, like a chef can't teach somebody how to cook when they're making food at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Because they're going too fast.
Gotcha.
So like, in carpentry, maybe yes, but even you could say construction, they're going at a fast pace because they got to get that fucking shit done, so they don't go overboard with time. I mean, maybe not because they just milk it. I don't understand. I've never done construction commercially, but you can't teach people something if you're going faster.
Get them on a union, they'll go slow.
There you go.
Get them in a union, they'll stretch digging a hole into 3 days when it should take 2 hours.
I'm from Boston.
People
I'm from Boston, Joe. I resent that. The Big Dig was a very efficient program. things all along, and it took us a very sufficient amount of time. Fucking 30 years to do something that they said it was going to take 5.
Yeah, yeah. It's like every road here in Long Island. There'll be cones guarding an area and not any workers there for 6 months. I'm like, so you just caused traffic for 6 months and never put a worker there at all. I don't like just get the work done or don't put the cones there every time.
Why would you do that? Why would you do something that makes sense, Joe?
Sounds like a good idea to me. Alex, sounds like a good idea. I don't know, but that's one thing I'll do. I want my son to son and future son to learn little things.
Joe,
I have a similar plan, but completely different side to your approach, Joe. Because I'm gonna make them little fucking savages. So my son and daughter are both gonna learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu as soon as they're allowed to step in there. My daughter
Okay.
will then go to some sort of other martial arts, but my son 100% has to do Muay Thai. Now they can both do Muay Thai, but I think that's going to give them very beautiful groundwork and just fighting with all their limbs, you know what I mean? And just know how to fucking wreck people, but also develop discipline, self-control, how to take instructions from somebody in a leadership position. And then hopefully that'll be good mental physical structure for the rest of their life, you know what I mean? Something that they can defend themselves, be self-reliant, but whether they choose to go do something completely different the rest of their life, at least under my care, I want to make sure that they're little fucking savages.
I like that. I like that. You have some holes in your walls at home.
I don't care, man. They can fight me, I don't care.
so I think there's a funny dichotomy or like difference with Alex's situation where he just had another girl, but Joe, you and I have brothers close in age. There's something to be like. There's something very like kismic and crazy to watch. I made like a Facebook little video of just like recordings I've made of the boys together in just like 6 months. Like my oldest is 2 years, my youngest is 6 months. I never had a brother, but there's a really cool connection when there's two boys and they're close in age and they're like it's a fun thing to watch, and it's a different dynamic I think than even if you have a like a son and a daughter very close in age. It's just like it's all different. It doesn't. It just. I have a lot of fun watching like how the older one looks at the baby and how the baby like he's like zoned in. Like when my oldest is in the room, like he loves his mother, of course, he laughs and smiles and he tolerates me, we'll be real, like he likes me, but I don't like my second, like the second one is a little different. So like he's cool with me. We're good. I can make him laugh. But when when Russell, the older brother, is around him, it's like zone time. Like the baby, like there's a connection that it's hard to really quantify when you got two boys.
The boys want to be with the boys. That's what it is, and he's just like, that's his bro. It's like,
well, my son is my little buddy, man. He's just my little fucking savage, and he's already like getting built out way different than my daughter is physically, because they're twins, but they're both starting to develop their little tiny bodies, and I'm just looking at my son. I'm like, yo, you're gonna be a big dude, man. You got a big yoked out upper body already. You're doing nothing. You're just a child. And I'm like, this dude's gonna be a beast. Like, I'm gonna make sure he's good to go. But like, since he doesn't have a brother, I have to do all the rough housing with him, and just I don't mind. I love my kid. I love spending any kind of time with him, so it doesn't faze me. But when he gets me in the junk, that's when it's a problem.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm sure they're gonna do it. If they're twins, they're gonna have some rough housing, just even though she's a girl.
They do, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, said I had two sets of twins growing up, like best friends, like in high school, and one were brothers, and then one was brother sister, and they were best friends, but also would fight each other harder than they would fight somebody else.
Yeah.
But once you went sided with another person, then they would kill you.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't go against either of them, but they could kill each other, they could fight each other, full out, punch each other in the face, all that. But then once somebody else got in, it's like, no, you don't touch my brother, you don't touch my sister. Like it was.
That's crazy.
It's an interesting dynamic. You'll go through that one, Alex, for sure. And anybody else that on the podcast that has twins, they're gonna fight, but from what my experience is, that they will, in the end, still be best friends and stay close. Especially if they're the same sex, I think it's easier.
Mhm.
Because you gotta end up hanging around all the same friends. But definitely, it was interesting growing up with two sets of twins as friends. It was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. Good times in high school.
Oh yeah, dude.
Right?
There was a clip online, and it's like a wrestling movie that's coming out. I think the clip was just something to explain like brother and sister dynamics. But basically, the theory of it was like, so it's like a wrestling family, and the brothers lifting weights or whatever, just hanging out, and the sister comes in, and they like bicker a little bit, like what are you doing? Like, and they like are at odds, like not getting along. But then the younger I guess she's younger, whatever. The sister goes and answers the door, and it's some guy, asking questions, trying to get trying, to the girl, trying to like woo her in some way, but also like she's not interested, and she goes to shut the door in his face, and he like puts the hand up and blocks the door from being shut, and then they
Okay.
have like the screech sound, and you see the brother who was lifting the weight, and he's like he had been at odds with the sister, but once that happened, it's like, I'll mess with my sister all I want, but like if you mess with my sister, it's a totally
Yeah.
different game. It makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be. You gotta have fun with that one, Alex. You gotta have fun.
Yeah,
with that.
I think what you just said, Jason, was kind of like how me and my sister, we weren't twins, we were just 2 years apart. But like that dynamic is exactly what my dynamic was with her growing up. Like I don't talk to her now because she sucks as an adult. But when we were younger, like if anybody would say anything about my sister, I'm like, I will fuck you up, dude. Like there's no messing around with my sister. That's my sister. That's my blood. Somehow that stuck in my head that I have to protect her. But I'm like, I don't know. I still lived it. Like that weird
Alex,
relationship.
that's interesting. So you guys were close, and then at what age did that start changing?
How far?
2 years apart. So
Okay.
I'm 37. She would be 35. But I haven't spoken to her since literally 2016, I think.
Wow.
2016. Yeah.
Say this,
I'm very serious when I cut people off. I'm very serious.
I respect, I'm serious too. I'll say this though, Alex, and take it or don't take it. It doesn't really matter. But my dad and my aunt. So my dad's the youngest. My aunt is 2 years older. I don't know if it's the opposite or the same for you.
It's the opposite for me. I'm the oldest and she's younger.
Dynamic. But my dad's sister was 2 years older, and they were close in age, but didn't get along. Even when I was like a kid, like they just like bickered, didn't relate to each other, kind of like you're explaining. And obviously, your sister's got other problems, but in the end, my dad got to like they both got to their 50s, and my aunt had in life. They never got along, even when she was sick. She was like, had health problems. They never would like they would tolerate each other, but they never got along. Um, and my aunt at 57, which is a lot, not a long life at all, but like they were brother and sister and had that dynamic for so long. But she passed away. She had health problems most of her life, and she died of lupus. And my dad, like there's a regret there that he never like got along with his sister when there was an opportunity, even though they were different and he didn't like who she was as a person in some ways. Like I think I see a glimmer when we talk about my aunt, and obviously it's different because she passed, but there's
Mhm.
something there where, and I've had problems with my sister, and it just, I don't hope that doesn't happen for you. They never got along. As a kid, I even recognized that. And when she passed away, like he was like very deeply saddened by that in some ways, like more so than just my sibling died, like something like was lost from his like life experience.
Yeah. So can I break something down for you, Jason?
I want you to, because it has
I'm
nothing.
a I'm a very cold-hearted, like fucking individual. So let me break something down in the best way that I know how. My great grandma, who I met on my dad's side, who was essentially his mother, she helped raise him. She died, and my mom's like, "Your dad's sad because your great grandma died," and I'm like, "All right." Like I don't know what to say to that, so I just left it alone. I didn't even talk to the guy, and he really was broken up because of his grandmother. Again, somebody who raised him passed away, so he didn't take it well. He stayed in his room, didn't come out. My mom was expecting me to go comfort my dad, a guy and a guy comforting each other, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." Like me and my dad didn't have a good relationship, which kind of gave me like the base of how I approach things. Like I'm telling you, you don't exist to me. Like I will never call you. I will never communicate with you. I've seen my sister two times in person when I went home to visit my mom and my family. Again, two times. Saw her, zero words. Zero words. As they say, no regrets.
Yeah, I mean, I can be spiteful. I really can. I can be nasty with people. Like, I get it. I get it. And it's you're efficient. If nothing else, Alex, you are efficient with your feelings. When you experience something, you're past it, and it's a lifetime subscription to that feeling. So you're good. You're on to the next. But it's life is fucking hard, boys. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
listen, I would
Mhm.
much rather have a better relationship, maybe even some sort of like, hey, I thought about you today, sent you this meme. It would be cool, like it would be great, but I've moved on. I made the conscious decision that it's much easier and much better for my own mental health to keep zero contact, to not speak with her again because I don't like her as an adult. As an adult, not a good positive person to be around, doesn't have her shit together, and it just stresses me out for no reason. I'm like, you just stress me out, like everything you do, everything about you, like you're just causing more drama for everybody around you. Like you're not worth just maintaining any sort of contact with, because then you suck me into your bullshit, and then I'm going to be the guy to fix something permanently, right? That's just me, myself, and I. That's how I think.
That
Sorry to
if you
hold
didn't
you
have
guys over.
kids, I think it would be different now. It's like, I think a lot of times, like, right, as a parent, you don't want certain people around your kids, right? Like you don't want them
Yeah.
to be influenced. You might, and you don't like her as an adult, maybe because of influence she could have if she was around, for example.
So
So
yes.
do you think if you didn't have kids, there would be a chance where you'd be like, hey, you know what? Maybe send her a meme?
No. No.
No.
I would be the same person with or without kids. My sister has expressed to my mom, hey, I would like to meet his twins. I would love to meet them. And I told my mom, no, thank you. I'm okay. My kids don't need to know her. That's the cold hard truth, boys. That's just again me, myself, and I. That's how I operate, and I just keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Call it cold blooded, call it cold hearted. My mental health is my priority, and somebody who is just negative and just poison and essentially like a leech or a vulture. Just, I don't know what good, other good descriptive words I can use to describe the personality of my sister.
Yeah.
That's the best that I could come up with. But this is who I've dealt with for years. And I'm just like, it's not worth it. You're not worth it at all.
Do you think something caused that for her?
For her, I don't know. The reality is I don't know, because I don't know how she thinks, or maybe the way she thinks makes me not want to be friendly towards her. I don't know. I don't really know the answer to, but
No, I'm just thinking like
definitely.
as a parent side, right? Like you have a girl, right?
Mhm.
We have boys obviously as well, but like as a parent, like what can we do to make sure that our kids don't turn into somebody that somebody else wouldn't want to be around?
That's
know
a
what I
great
mean?
question. Yeah. I don't know how to
Right?
answer that.
Because you said like as a child, right, there was maybe not that negativity, or as a kid we don't
Mhm.
really think about that, but at some point
Hmm.
she turned into a person that you didn't want to be around. So what happened to her? Or, I mean, that's not always to her. It could be just a person. I mean, there's just terrible people in the world,
Just
unfortunately.
different paths in life, and just, I guess, disagreeing or not being okay with what I've done in my life. I don't know. Or maybe her. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I don't really put that much thought into it.
Yeah, you passed it. It's 8 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
You know what I want to say?
What's up?
It was dark and I enjoyed it. Have Alex back on the show. Like
Why?
we were in the gambit. This whole like we went from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the valley. And I know this is deep, but I think you guys want to. I know we gotta.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you guys, I appreciate it, and I don't really typically think about stuff like this. So the fact that we're talking, opening up, putting our fucking business out to the world, whatever, it's our own man-to-man, friend-to-friend, bro-to-bro therapy. You know what I mean?
I missed you.
That's why. Hey, I missed you, motherfuckers, man. I honestly did.
Listen, couldn't let you run away. We had to bring you back.
Thanks for taking me back.
Sometimes it's just a matter of, like you said,
that is American economics. So I'm glad I got to talk to you again.
I caught the end part. I got it.
God. Well, it's been real, boys. I think
listen, I guess we'll call it a night on that note. Listen, any dads out there listening, listen, take it as you want. Whether you think the stock market's a Ponzi scheme, whether you want to, talk to brothers, sisters, have twins, don't have twins, have more kids, whatever it is that you're looking to do. But
that's the Dad podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Your life.
Spread the gospel. Spread the gospel.
Share it with friends. One of the things I've learned, being in fields and being in the business we're in, if you got to tell people, if you see value in something, you got to share it with people, even if you don't think they are. I can't. So share this podcast with your friends. You don't know which one of your friends might need it and might have some questions for themselves or some things that we can help them with. So subscribe. Alex, great to have you back.
Thanks, guys.
Jason, it sounds like you want to say something before we hop off. Are we good?
I wanted to tell people to find value in Stanley Cup.
Find value in Stanley Cups. That's it.
I hate you so much.
All right, guys. Time for Dad. We're going to say peace out. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Alex, Jason, and Joe, signing off. Take care.
Yeah.